Welcome to the Random-esque Podcast with your hosts, Dr. Paul Banks and Jim Mooney. And remember, always stay random-esque.
Welcome to the Random-esque Podcast, where we say, always stay random-esque. We're your hosts, Jim and Paul, and we're sort of in the wild today. We're back home taping today in my home.
I just flew back from Vegas, and boy, are my arms tired.
I bet they are. Wow. Yikes. Boy, it is.
I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Vegas either. We're going there for our international convention for Minuteman Press in July. And that'll be fun because we'll get to catch up with some of our fellow owner-operators. It's always a fun time. But I am really not a gambling person, so.
No, it's just people overload.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you walk on the strip, it's like there's no real estate to move. You're always, and everywhere, it's just people.
Okay. Where did you stay?
We stayed at the Red Rock, which is off the strip.
Oh, cool.
But because of the conference, we took an Uber to the strip and walked around, and it was interesting to see.
Is the Red Rock like that Red Rock Pavilion, or that's in Denver, right?
That's in Denver,
yeah.
The amphitheater area.
Like where U2 had their famous concert. Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I wasn't sure. So Red Rock, was it something to do with
There's
Red
some
Rock?
kind of Red Rock State Park near there.
Okay.
That we were gonna go, but it was so nice out. I just wanted to sit in the sun.
So, which is lovely. So today the show is Unscripted, Unplugged. We're going with the sans script, right? I mean, we have some ideas of topics that we want to talk about, obviously, to give it some structure, but we're not going to do any bits. We're not going to do anything wacky. We probably will talk wacky, but so.
A day without our wackiness is like a day without sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. I actually really enjoy it, but I enjoy this too, when we don't get a chance to just talk. And I was just even saying
we just don't communicate anymore.
Yeah, I know. We just
don't talk anymore.
You never call.
Never call.
That's a big joke in my Barb's side of the family. You never call.
My mom once told me, you never called. I'm like, well, if you paid the phone bill.
Yeah, maybe I could.
Maybe I'd be able to call.
Yeah, maybe I could call you. But anyway, so we just figured we'd talk today. And have fun. And we felt like we hadn't seen each other in a little bit because Paul was away. So it's been a few weeks since we've been together, since the last disastrous live show. What a fun one that was. I think I horrified some people in the audience with my TP bomb.
I think we held the record for most people left voluntarily.
And it was kind of like, you remember on the Munsters when someone would be in a car and they would see the Munsters and they would like screech away? That was basically what these people were doing. They were like,
remember Casper?
Yeah, Casper.
Ghost!
And like Casper wasn't even that scary.
No, he was friendly.
Yeah, I mean, it was the other ghosts that like would take their heads off and do weird things, and Casper was friendly.
I thought the ghosts in Scooby-Doo were worse.
Yeah, they were. That was Scooby-Doo. I never got that show. I love Scooby-Doo, don't get me wrong,
sure.
but they always introduced a character at the end that they hadn't talked about the entire show.
Well, the criminal?
Mr. Miller, the librarian! Oh, no! I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you kids, you meddling kids! Right? Yeah, it was like they would introduce somebody that, they didn't even have in the show.
And I'm convinced there was something in those Scooby snacks, man.
I'm sure there were. Yeah.
He went from, half asleep to, Shaggy!
And it's pretty unbelievable that was Casey Kasem playing Shaggy, too.
Yeah.
We're going to count down. Number 10, Shaggy. Anyway, So we're gonna talk. Let's thank our sponsors a little bit. You know, we have Prospect 16 here behind us. Great restaurant in downtown Westfield. They're located in the center of Westfield.
At 16 Prospect.
At 16 Prospect. Their name is their address. So a great place. Love the food. You know, the beverages, the entertainment. And the people. Just great atmosphere.
Fun times.
It really
fun
is.
times.
And then Paul likes to talk about his Florham Park Dental Excellence.
Yeah, it's pretty. We just remodeled. A lot of new stuff there to take care of our patients' needs. And
you can visit them at florhamparkdental.com, florhamparkdental.com. And then me, Minuteman Press, just like, you know, you see here printed on the set, my embroidered work here, Paulie's Yo Paulie.
my classic Yo
Which you can't see it, there it is.
Paulie.
And the back of the set here, we print all these things. So we are branding and printing partners. We're located in Clark, New Jersey, and you can check us out or check us out at nj213.minuteman.com. That's nj213.minuteman.com, and let's get on with the show.
Did you ever think of printing money?
Well, we print checks. We do print checks.
You print checks.
Actually, I do print checks, obviously, legitimately. So we actually
Was that a big wink you just gave me?
No, that was not a big wink. I actually just printed checks for my business because I use a lot of checks in you know, my expenses. You know, either with the United States Postal Service when I'm paying for postage or paying various vendors.
You don't pay online?
You can pay online. You can pay by credit card, and you can pay by check. I don't always use a check. In fact, anymore I'm using a credit card with when I'm dropping mailings off to the post office.
I mean, I remember I used to go through like a checkbook so quickly. Now you really don't, because I don't really write checks.
We actually go through a lot of checks, believe it or not. And I just asked Seamus to do another batch of them for us. And we've printed checks for other businesses as well. It's kind of cool. So anyway, but one of the topics we wanted to talk about today was baseball, because we don't talk about baseball, and both of us love the sport of baseball. And, you know, I love to troll Paul on his Facebook all the time. I'm always answering him, like, snidely, basically. Yeah. But I saw one of his topics recently, and I'm like, we should talk about that on the show. So why don't you introduce it?
Yeah, well, there's baseball recently is just, they've made so many changes. And, you know, I know they want to, you know, better the game. You know, but there's so many things that kind of irk me. And
what would you say your number one is? And because I know mine, I'm loaded here with mine. But what is the number one rule change recently that has irked you?
That ghost runner on second base.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That ghost runner on second base. You know,
it doesn't make any sense. I understood it during COVID, trying to, you know, cut down the time of games. But they should just go back to regular baseball.
Let them play a 15-inning game. Let them
right
do that. It's just,
we're not dealing with COVID well, I mean, I know we still are in the background, but that was the whole reason, was to cut down the time of the games. And even when they did the double headers going to 7 innings, I could see that. You know, that's fine, because then you're playing 14 innings regardless.
But I think it's a tremendous disadvantage. Well, a couple reasons, but one is the ghost runner, if I'm correct, is the last batter to make an out.
That's correct.
Okay.
They become the runner on second base.
So there could be a huge speed discrepancy.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, on a base hit, the runner would advance to third, and the other one would score.
The interesting thing is, you know, I think there's different approaches and strategies with the ghost runner. So, like, if you're the visiting team, you're trying to score more than just that one run, because you don't know what the home team's going to do in the bottom of the 10th, we'll say. So you're actually trying to not just sacrifice that guy over to third base. You're trying to get them in and get big guys on base to score as many runs as possible. because if you don't score a run, the home team, all they need to do is sacrifice the guy over to third, and then you got 2 shots at hitting a guy in, whether it's sacrifice fly or by whatever means. So
yeah, and another thing is those mitts they put on when they run. I mean,
I actually don't have an issue with that one. That was one of the ones I wanted to talk about.
You use those to pull out like a cake out of the oven.
Yeah, I know they are pretty big.
I mean, they're big. It's like it's that in conjunction with the fact that the bases are bigger.
Yeah, I get it. They're trying to up the scoring in baseball and make it more interesting. The base thing, whatever. I guess that makes a difference. It seems to. The oven mitt thing, I think was a good rule change. I mean, so many guys, break fingers or
don't steal.
Don't steal. It's part of the game,
I know.
I'm not sure how I always feel about stealing and bunting guys over. Didn't it drive Richie Ashburn crazy that when they would give up an automatic out to sacrifice somebody? I think that used to drive him nuts.
Yeah, it did.
I think it semi drove my dad crazy too, because he loved Richie Ashburn. Richie Ashburn was his favorite player of all time.
So go ahead. I mentioned a couple. You tell me. Give me another one.
Well, they're really the rule changes. I think the pitching changes have been good. I mean, going a few years back now, the visits to the mound, being one. So you get the 6 visits to the mound, and that really has reduced that. I think now having somewhat better communications in the hat with the catcher and pitcher, I still would like to know how that works. I guess they're hitting a button on their kneecap that they're,
a transmitter.
But are they talking, or is that like
they're talking?
Is that like AI?
No, they're speaking.
They're speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was always kind of, and then you always see the guy like this. He's touching his hat, and he's like, "I can't hear you," kind of thing. But that's really taken away a lot of the hand signals and stealing signals. When you have a guy on second base, so
right, you can't steal signs.
But I do think to a degree, and I think there's a certain cadence now to the game, them speeding up in between pitches has enhanced the game and made it a little faster. I think there was a lot of adjustment early on, obviously, and that's why they tested in the minors and then bring it up to the majors.
Test it on the guys that'll never get a shot at playing professional baseball.
Exactly, but you got to test it because to a degree the minors they count, but they it's not at the same level as the majors, obviously. So I think some of those rule changes have been good. It's helped to speed up the game a little bit. I don't think it's a ton. I'm not sure how I feel about the tack rule. I actually think they
what rule?
The tack on the hand for a pitcher. I actually think they should be able to have a little bit of a grip because that's dangerous. I mean, these guys are throwing 90, 100 miles an hour. That ball slips out of their hand. That could really damage somebody. And I've even heard batters make an argument on the other side. We would prefer them to have a better grip so they're not throwing it at us. You don't want to get plunked with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
That's not comfortable.
That would smart pretty well, right?
But what are you thinking about the fielders, primarily third and second base? Well, actually, it's primarily second, third, and home, blocking the plate or blocking the base.
So when
before the ball gets there.
Before the ball gets there, like if it's someone hits the ball and they're blocking the base. And, I think it can be dangerous, obviously, and they're not able to do the same that they used to do in the 70s growing up. But I think that's the Buster Posey role, really, especially at the catcher position. I mean, he broke his leg over it, right?
Yeah. Remember Ray Fosse?
Ray Fosse with Pete Rose.
And that was an all-star.
And that was an all-star game. It was crazy.
Was that 70? Something like that?
Yeah, and in somewhere in the 70s, yeah.
I think it was actually 70.
Was it 1970?
I think
okay.
so.
It was that I don't remember seeing it. I was probably too little. I was about 5 years old at the time, but I do remember the play. I mean, I've since seen the play, obviously.
I remember. Well, I used to go over to my grandfather's house, was in walking distance of our house, and I used to go Saturday afternoon. Every Saturday afternoon, I would watch the game of the week on NBC with Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek.
Yeah, remember that was a thing. So were you living in Oxford Circle at the time?
No, that was when I was living in Logan.
Oh, in Logan. Okay.
Moved out of Logan in 77.
Your neighborhood recently came up in a conversation. I was like, that's where Paul lived. Like
where that airplane crashed.
Where that airplane crashed, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That was the Roosevelt Mall.
Roosevelt Mall. My sister worked there. She worked at the Wanamaker's over there.
And a few blocks up was the Country Club Diner.
That's right, Country Club. But
Northeast High School.
I forget who I was talking to, but it came up the other day. Someone was from the Northeast, so or their family was from there. So, anywho,
it's funny when I say the Northeast. When I first met Audrey, I said the Northeast. She'd say, "What is the Northeast? Is it like New England?" I'm like, "No, it's the Northeast."
Right, the Northeast.
It's the Northeast Philly.
Because people think it's the Northeast section of the country. We're not talking about the Northeast section of the country. We're talking about the Northeast section of Philadelphia when we say the Northeast. And I think I've said this before to you, being Catholic, that, we belong to parishes. And we're designated in Catholic land...
there's so many parishes.
By parishes,
you grew up.
yeah. So I was St. Catherine's Parish, and I had friends from BVM Parish, Our Lady of Calvary, Christ the King. So we were all from different parishes, and you would, like when we went to Ryan for high school, you would say what parish you came from versus what neighborhood you grew up in, and then people knew what section of the city you lived in based on parishes. So. It's kind of like, I think they do that in New Orleans, right? I have never been to New Orleans, but I think it's designated by parishes.
Out of all the places you've been to, you've never been to New Orleans?
No, I have not.
So one thing I thought about, actually I didn't think about it, someone mentioned it to me, that baseball, about all the rule change and everything, and what he said to me was really interesting, and he said baseball is the only sport where each playing field has a different dimension.
Yeah, true.
Whereas basketball, same dimension. Football, hockey, same dimension.
Sounds like George Carlin.
Same dimension, yeah.
It sounds like a George Carlin routine.
Yeah, but it's like, and there's no way they would ever change that.
No, they wouldn't. And the other thing, and this is in the documentary of baseball by Ken Burns, somebody makes the comment that baseball is the only sport where the defense starts with the ball. If you think about that, that's pretty amazing. I actually had to go through each sport and had to think about that, but that's very true. Otherwise, you're offensively starting, but the defense holds the ball because the pitcher is pitching.
And so you. I think the different dimensions of the ballpark, I think that, that's just a home field advantage kind of thing. I don't.
Yeah, well, there's nuances and nooks and crannies in different ballparks, and obviously it's what makes them unique. When you like Fenway with the big green monster, it's really cool, and you can actually sit up there.
Yeah, we sat up there.
Oh, you did.
When we were,
Oh, what did you think about that?
Not for a game. We took a tour.
Oh, cool.
We took a tour of Fenway. We were in Boston. We sat up there. It's a very, very cool perspective.
Yeah, I would think so.
You don't realize how high up you are.
Yeah, that's pretty high up.
I mean, what is that? I mean, I don't know offhand what it is down that line.
I would say like 320 or something like that.
Right, but the height of the wall makes up the difference.
Yeah, it's like Yankee Stadium where the left field I think it's a short porch, But it's not a short porch because it's a tall porch, right?
I remember, not that I remember, but the Yankee Stadium, before they put up Monument Park out in center field, the old Yankee Stadium, that used to be the fence to go over. It was like a 440 yard.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty far.
440 feet.
If you were hitting it to that black tarp, you were hitting a shot.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. The other thing about Fenway that's interesting, so I lived in Boston for 3 years, and so I got to go to Fenway a lot, even though I'm not a Red Sox fan. I do like Fenway Park. It's like the Citgo sign is like an optical illusion. I always thought it was attached to the stadium. There is a highway in between that Citgo sign and the stadium. They're not anywhere near each other, but the camera angles make it look like it's a sign in the ballpark, and it's not.
Well, here's a very interesting tidbit of history about that Citgo sign.
Sure.
That the reason the Citgo sign is there was because whenever they had a home run, Citgo they would say, "See it go."
Oh, really?
As a home run. Yeah, someone told me that.
Are you sure about that?
Someone told me that.
Am I going to have to
I don't know if it could be, someone could have made that up, but it sounded good.
Am I going to have to fact check you again?
Hey, listen, I'm not saying it's...
At least you make it interesting.
That's what someone told me once. See it go.
See it go. I thought it had something to do with gasoline. But...
Well, I'm sure it did. It could be see the car go if you fill it up with gas. I don't know.
But
Fenway was good. We took the boys to a game there when they were 8, and we sat in the bleachers, and we had a great time. And outside there on Yawkey Way before the game with all the people, it's just a fun.
Oh, it is. The whole atmosphere around the ballpark is terrific with the cask and flagon. Great bar right next to the stadium. Used to go to the House of Blues a lot for concerts. I don't know if you've been to a concert. Seen the Dropkick Murphys there. We saw the Go-Go's there. Streetlight Manifesto. Just incredible bands through there. And actually, I didn't see this, but Green Day came through there when they were promoting one of their new albums. It's a really cool venue to see a concert. So.
Well, I thought that's just a great atmosphere for a game. I was really impressed last year when we went.
No, but I'm saying in the House of Blues. Sorry.
Oh.
I have seen concerts at Fenway too, like James Taylor and all. I think Paul McCartney too. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. No, and
I meant the House of Blues on the Green Day one.
No, I know. What I was impressed with this past summer when we all went to Pittsburgh, we actually met Seamus and Ange.
Yeah.
There, they had outside of Pittsburgh, out of the stadium, they had a block party, which is really, really fun.
It's cool stadium with the bridges and all, and there's a lot of steel in that building.
Yeah, we gotta figure out what stadium to go to.
And have you been to Wrigley?
No.
Let's go to Wrigley. That's the stadium you want to go to.
I've never been to Wrigley. I've been to Chicago multiple times.
You want to go to Murphy's Bleacher Bar. Incredible. You could just go there.
Yeah, I just heard.
You can just go there.
I just heard it's a great venue. I was there when the Sox were home, but there's no way I was going to the South Side.
The White Sox. Yeah, I've been to the White Sox. I've been to the old and new Comiskey.
That's not a great area.
No.
where Wrigley is.
It's actually okay though. It's just like going to the Bronx. Nobody bothers you.
Where Wrigley is, you're like right around Rush Street and all those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The north side of Chicago.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Do you know that the how the fans used to sit on the roofs?
Yes.
Do you know? I don't know if you knew this.
Oh, I probably did.
The Cubs put a scoreboard up there so it blocks the people from seeing it.
It did. They did at one point. They've come to a mutual agreement, and basically, you can now rent those houses out. So when I worked for McDonald's, Coca-Cola as our partner, they hosted an entire one of those houses for McDonald's and the various operators that were out for a national meeting.
No, but I'm saying
No, I know, but
you
they
can't
did.
see that they put a
Oh no, they
so
did.
you can't watch the game from those.
But they don't have that anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, they took it down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, no, I was in one of the houses that's closest to home plate, and you can see into the stadium. It's like being in a giant suite.
I imagine you can't see the game too well.
I mean, you're not into the intimacy of the game. You're really watching.
But everyone's doing a
from
lot of
afar.
partying, sitting up there having fun.
But and they also on the top of the house have actual stadium seating.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
You can do that, but then there's like 4 floors, and each floor you can see it from a different level.
No, that's what I'm talking about. The stadium seating on the roof.
Yes, yeah. But then they also have almost like a suite that overlooks, for the next floor down. It's just really cool. It's a really
Wrigley.
cool thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We should get a group of people. And
because Seamus has never been there, and I would really like to get him there.
no, and they're baseball stadiums. I just don't have any desire to go to, like Florida,
Yeah, right.
Tampa Bay. Well, Tampa Bay plays in Steinbrenner Field now. They're playing there this year.
Yeah, because unfortunately their stadium roof blew off in one of the hurricanes.
They can't even sell out Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah, I know, right. But I have an interesting one I want to go to and have always wanted to see was Tiger Stadium.
I was at the old one.
Maybe because I played for the Tigers for Tarsdale when I was growing up. My team was the Tigers, and they had a little patch on.
And they're good now.
They are good, yeah. And in fact, they just picked up Gleyber Torres and some other people. Yeah, they are pretty good. So.
Would you go there only if they played the Yankees, or would you go?
No, I would go. Yeah, no, I would go. And the same thing with Wrigley. I would go even if it's not the Phillies. However, my dad and I, back in about 2010, went to Wrigley, and the Phillies were playing the Cubs on a 4-game set, and we hit 3 of the 4 games.
Was that? That wasn't that like you weren't at that like 16-14 game.
No.
I remember that.
No,
those scores
that was when we were growing up with Mike Schmidt, and when the wind blows out of Wrigley, the ball goes.
Do you know the Phillies were supposed to be the first opponent to play at night, and the game was rained out?
Yeah, in fact,
it ended up being the Mets.
Gary Matthews was the first home run, but it didn't count.
Right, and that's right. That's right. And then they.
Yeah, I was watching the game, growing up, and I guess I was a teenager or almost into an adult by the time they put the lights in.
That was a big deal.
It was a big deal because it was all day games. So anyway, we're gonna cut it here. We're gonna go to another topic, and we will be right back. Thank you.
So
what?
I'm counting in Spanish.
And we're back.
So what I was thinking? What are some of the things that drive you absolutely crazy?
What are
things that happen in everyday life? What are your pet peeves? What drives you crazy? Because
well, and it's interesting because this one is it's not it's baseball related because it happened at Yankee Stadium recently when I was there. So we were in rain delay, and I actually went to the game by myself. Everybody else, Seamus and Ange were running in the Philly Broad Street run.
I've done that.
And Barb was down in Philly as well. So I was actually free that day, and I went to Yankee Stadium to watch the game. It was actually a really bad game, but whatever.
Was that this year?
Was that? Yeah, it was this year, a couple weeks ago, and so I got tickets that are tied to the. Now, when I say that it's the Ford Club, don't think that this is anything big deal. It's really not a big deal club. It's just basically a place you can go in that has beverages and some food. They don't even have restrooms in this club, so it's not like big time club at Yankee Stadium. It's fine. It's very nice. It's just not, I think the Pepsi Club is better. which we've been in.
We've been to the Lexus Club.
The Lexus, okay. I've been to the one down. What is that? Legends or whatever it is.
The Lexus Club we've been to is in center field or right field. I forget.
In Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not talking about the Batter's Eye, right?
No. The Lexus Club. It's in the outfield.
Because the Batter's Eye at Yankee Stadium has the Pepsi Club, which we get tickets. Like, if you get tickets in the 400 level, you can get tickets that give you access.
No, we were actually in this.
But so anyway, we're in like a very short rain delay. It was only like a half-hour rain delay. So I'm inside. There's a line like getting food in the club. You know, you go up and you order sausage, premio sausage, which is very good, or a hot dog or whatever. So there's a whole line standing there, and there's this older couple at this guy's.
So you didn't have to like order it online. You just waited.
No, I was online or in line.
In line.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
But this older couple's like, are you guys like all waiting for like, you know, hot dogs and stuff? And we're like, yeah, like, what do you think? Do you think we just like standing in a line and we're a close family or something? And he's just like, oh, it's like all mad at us about the line. And I'm like, well, you know, all right, we're in line, but we didn't create this. I mean, maybe they need some more employees to get people through the line quicker, you know, or something. But it just drives me nuts. Like, he's all huffy at us over it. And he's like, I don't have time to stand at this line. Oh, and he goes storming off. I'm like, okay.
So he's like, get out of the line.
Get out of the line. It's like, and I'm not even blaming Yankee Stadium. They you know, it was a rain delay, and all of a sudden, it looked like, the airport when there's canceled flights. I mean, there were people like
Funny you mentioned that now.
Like, there were like people like laying on the floor and like all kinds of stuff. I'm like, what is going on around
I heard they're
here?
building a hotel in Newark Airport.
Yeah, they probably should.
People have to sleep over in the airport, actually.
That's been quite an interesting situation. And did you fly out of Newark?
We did. We left a half an hour late, and we got in on time.
So you were okay? Like,
Yeah.
there was no issue
No, we
for
didn't have
you?
any problems.
Okay. When I'm going to Vegas in July, I'm flying out of Philly.
Yeah, well, we were going to
But
do that.
it wasn't for this reason at the time. I was doing it because you get a direct flight from Philly, because we always fly on American Airlines.
See, we fly United, and you couldn't get a direct flight out of Philly.
And you probably recall American Airlines used to be U.S. Air in
Yep.
Philly, so that's their hub.
Yep.
So we just elected we're going to stay over and then catch an early flight the next morning, so we don't have to worry about any layovers. It's a nice, 4-hour straight flight to Vegas, to the hot bowl out there. God.
I got to watch a couple of movies headed out there. It was nice.
How hot was it, by the way?
Well, it wasn't bad. It was in the 70s, high 70s, but the air
You
is
lucked
so
out.
dry. It just felt so hot.
Yeah, it is
No
a dry
wind.
heat. It's
No
a
wind.
dry heat.
There's no wind,
Yeah.
and I think at one point it got in the 80s.
Yeah.
Not often, but even when it was in 70s,
That's tolerable, though.
I can't imagine going there in July.
So Seamus and I, for our first Minuteman convention back in 2018, it was literally 107 every day.
When did you go?
We were there at the end of July, beginning of August, which is when Minuteman plans it, and strategically, because it's the slowest time in the entire system. Summer, we are quieter than, the spring and fall. Spring is at least for our organization, is our big time. And then fall is our second big time.
Yeah,
and
you don't like to be outside at all.
Yeah, summer's a little bit of a lull because here in Jersey, people go to the shore, they go on vacation over in Europe or out west or whatever. So, and you probably have the same thing in your world,
Yeah, you would do.
Yeah, it's probably the same. But so what drives you nuts? Besides me.
Oh, man. When you're driving and getting off an exit and you're waiting and these cars speed up on the left side and try and get in, go ahead, that just absolutely infuriates me. When there's a sign.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
When there's a sign that says.
Oh, was that me?
The sign that's behind the sign says, if there's a lane closure, that's another thing too. If there's a lane closure, they still don't turn until the lane closed.
Right?
They don't get.
Oh, yeah. It's like the last second they're darting in.
Yeah, that's just.
Sometimes I pull those moves.
They're getting off on the exit, and then all of a sudden these people drive all the way up.
Drives you nuts.
Yeah, it does.
Or people not using their signals. There's a lot of that going on.
Well, I remember
people use your signals.
I remember someone didn't use a turn signal to change lanes, and then I was pulled up side by side. I go, you better check your bulbs. Your signals aren't working.
Nice. And what did they say?
No, there's no response.
No response at all. I did, when I was living, I do have to admit, when I lived in San Francisco, I used to pull some New York moves with driving when I would just dart in, to a lane coming out of San Francisco. And one time somebody said I was number one, and I have to agree with them. It was the wrong move, but it got me out quicker. So
how about
just trying to get across the Bay Bridge?
Yeah, how about the people that are doing shopping for the entire country and they're in the 10 items or less lane?
Does that drive you crazy?
I told someone they had to go back to counting school.
You have to go back to you're like Larry David over at the supermarket.
Well, it's like,
confronting people.
Listen, if it's 10 items or 15 items or less, they have 17. Yeah, big deal. But I'm telling you, this was like this person hadn't shopped since the Mesozoic era. And
it was that many things. It wasn't
it
like...
was just a couple that it was just so many.
Oh my God.
So many things.
Now, I'm not trying to defend that person, but did the cashier maybe call them over because they were slow, or did they just jump in line?
Cashiers will never work.
Once in a while. Hey, I was a cashier. I used to work at Pathmark growing up.
Yeah, but it was different back then.
It was different back then.
It was different back then. People were more courteous.
Yeah, I worked at the Pathmark by St. Joe's in college.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. My friend Steve and I.
My mom used to go to the Pathmark at 2nd and Godfrey, right near Cardinal Doherty.
Oh, wow, okay.
That was the Pathmark we went to, and Frank's Beverages was around there too.
Oh, wow. Is it Frank's? Thanks, Frank's? That Frank's?
They still sell, you can go online.
You can get Frank's?
You can get Black Cherry Wishniak.
Oh, wow.
But, it's certainly not the same recipe.
So the Pathmark I worked at was on Monument Road, and it was right by Channel 6 and 10. So we would see a lot of the on-air talent come through our line. It was pretty cool.
There's that news van.
Dave Roberts one night came through my line.
I just realized...
Do you remember Dave Roberts?
I certainly do.
Dave Roberts, the weather guy, and he was a commentator.
Do you know who his son is? Dave Roberts was the weatherman.
Eric Roberts?
No. It's the guy that stars...
Julia Roberts?
No. The guy that stars on the show Bones.
I don't know that show. I know the show.
It's his son that's on it. I can't think of the name.
Well, obviously his last name is Roberts, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's not.
Well, then he's tricking us.
But it's funny you mentioned that...
That drives me crazy.
It's funny you mentioned Action News, because I don't know what made me think of this.
Bum, 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 bum,
ba 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 ba.
Action News, Delaware Valley's greatest news.
I don't know what made me think of it, but
Don Tolleson.
I just wanted to check. Remember Larry Kane?
Yeah, Larry Kane. Yeah,
Larry Kane is still kicking, man.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's like 82.
He was big time.
Maybe he was big time. I remember he was in Philly for a while, and then he left for New York and did the national news.
Yes.
And then he came back and he left, and then Jim Gardner, replaced him, who has just retired.
Yeah, wow, Larry King. Yeah, he was big time. Remember he interviewed the Beatles too.
Yep. Well, he was a huge Beatles fan.
He was a huge Beatle fan, yeah.
But that was Action News was the news to watch.
And then there was, not that this is news related, but Gene London. Do you remember Gene London?
We were at the Quigley Mansion.
Quigley Mansion?
We went to we took a school trip to the Gene London show.
Oh, really? Is that where he broadcast from?
Well, the Quigley Mansion was a part of the studio.
What's the Quigley Mansion? I don't remember that.
That's the haunted kind of mansion on the Gene London show. You have to look that up.
I have to look that up. I was a little bit younger for Gene London, but I do remember him.
Remember Captain Noah and his magical ark?
I do. I do. And I think, remember how he used to slide down the slide?
Yeah.
I heard he broke his hip or something one day.
I never heard that.
I don't know if that's an urban legend or not, but
Captain Noah and Mrs. Noah.
red and yellow and pink
Was that
and green, purple and
I remember he used to have the BBC.
blue.
You can see a rainbow.
Sing a rainbow. Sing a rainbow too. Listen with your eyes. Listen with your eyes. It's Captain Noah and his magical ark.
I don't know. The thing about Mrs. Noah,
Yeah.
Mrs. Noah never had dinner ready on the table, man. I don't know.
what was going on with that. That would drive me crazy. And then it was send your pictures to dear old Captain Noah.
Yep.
Send today.
Send right away.
Send right away.
I think Mrs. Noah had a thing with Sally Starr.
Well, I was funny you mentioned Sally Starr. I think my sister was on Sally Starr, or maybe it was whatever the clown was. I forget what show.
Romper Room?
No, she wasn't on Romper Room. It was like somebody the clown or something. I don't know. She was on a TV show.
Homie the Clown.
Like a child, she was just there. Like remember they used to have Wonderama in New York.
I'm trying to think of the name of the clown.
The only reason I know Wonderama is because my parents bought a special antenna that we could get New York channels growing up. So I used to watch Channel 5 a lot growing
Well,
up.
when we first moved up here, this was before cable.
Back in the 1800s?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. There was cable. But we couldn't get any of the Philadelphia games. It was before DirecTV and
no, yeah.
So we put a long range antenna in the attic.
Okay.
And we were able to get Philadelphia channels.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's smart. That's basically
But a lot
what
of
we were
times the
doing.
screen was like kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with watching we don't pay. But
Wow.
but
Yikes. Drives me crazy.
I never got that when kids are trying to like read between the lines with that
Yeah,
stuff.
no, whatever. On that stuff. It's
But
funny.
no, Sally Starr was big, and Gene London, Captain Noah.
Captain Noah, man.
Captain Noah was good.
Oh, Dr. Shock.
Dr. Shock.
Do you remember? He came to, he was at a carnival right around the corner from me growing up.
Yeah, I remember. Was he?
Do you remember Dr. Shock?
Yeah, he was in Channel 17.
Channel 17.
Kaiser,
yes.
no, Kaiser Broadcast was
No,
48.
that was Channel
WPHL was.
PHL was 17.
And 29 was WTAF, Taft Broadcasting. I remember that.
And then they brought Channel 57 in, and that kind of replaced Channel 48.
That's right.
I used to watch WKBS, like, exclusively.
I used to watch on KBS, there was the, used to watch on Saturdays, the Philadelphia Warriors roller derby team.
Oh, yeah, the roller derby.
That was the only thing I'd watch, like, every week. I had no clue what it was about.
They would have, I don't know what channel it was, but Soul Train would be on one of them on Saturday afternoon.
The Soul
Train. Oh, there's a dog, Cordelia.
Soul Train was on network TV. I think it was in...
Who do you think has the deeper voice, him or Barry White?
Oh, Barry White.
You think Barry White has, and what about Lou Rawls?
Barry White.
Barry White has a deeper voice than Don Cornelius?
I think so.
And then Lou Rawls? No. No, probably Barry White. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he's got a pretty deep voice, right?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. You can't even do it. It's so deep.
I can't do it. I can't. How low can you go? I can't get that low.
Soul Train. I used to love watching Soul Train.
But there's always like the there was the competition between Soul Train and American Bandstand.
Yeah.
They were both on Saturdays. They were on different times, however, but I watched them both.
But American Bandstand would have wouldn't they would have on rock bands too at some points
Yeah,
some
but here's
groups?
here's a bit of information. What song? And you may not know this. What song was the first song by a white artist that made a top rated song on the I think it was WDAS. That was the urban station.
Yeah.
What was the first
I remember
crossover song?
You asked me this before, but I forget the answer. What is it?
It was Benny and the Jets
Oh, wow.
by Elton John.
I love that song.
Yeah, it was the first one to do that.
Yeah, you told me that before. I remember on a previous show. Yeah, I forgot.
But did you watch Bandstand and Soul Train?
I did. I watched both. I'm trying to remember though, because I feel like they would have the Boomtown Rats on and stuff on Bandstand, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, lip syncing.
Yeah. What, the Boomtown Rats were lip syncing?
They all did.
Well, that's true. That's true, because
shows.
I was watching, I don't know if you watch Me TV, and they have the Ed Sullivan Show. It's like a best of.
I know Me TV.
And they had the Mamas and Papas on, and you could clearly tell they were lip syncing.
Well, did you
There's
hear
no
the
way
story was
they were singing that well on the Ed Sullivan
Well,
Show.
the story was, the legend was that, not Mama Cass, Mackenzie while they were singing, was eating a sandwich to prove they weren't really singing on TV.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Not Papa John
Michelle Phillips.
Michelle Phillips. Okay.
Michelle Phillips was, they were singing.
Mackenzie Phillips is their daughter.
That's right. She took out a sandwich and started eating because she was so pissed off that they wanted to.
That's hysterical. I never heard that.
Yeah.
And I heard the other day that Mama Cass did not die by eating a ham
No,
sandwich.
she did not. She did not.
I just heard that on Howard Stern the other day.
No, she did not.
I was like, wow, that's what we all thought happened. That's
Jimi Hendrix's death could have been prevented.
Yeah.
When he was choking, they could have turned him over. He apparently choked on his own vomit.
Oh, wow. Same thing with John Bonham, right?
Oh, John Bonham just did like 50 shots of alcohol, of vodka,
God.
and got blood poisoning.
Have you seen the film yet? Becoming Led Zeppelin?
Saw it on the flight home.
Oh, it's so good.
It was great. And that's another thing too.
Did you learn something? Seriously.
I learned that they're all very highly intelligent people.
Yeah. No, I'm being really serious. I learned a lot about Zeppelin.
Did. Now, I also saw, going there, I saw A Complete Unknown.
Oh, so good.
Did you feel like they painted him as a real not so nice person?
Dylan, yeah, they kind of did. You could tell there was an edge to him, but I think that was purposeful. That's fine. You can just put it down.
Yeah, I got that I got that impression from him. I mean, the music was great. The story itself was great.
I thought the movie was terrific.
I thought that they could have carried it out a little further into his career.
What's the guy, Timothy Chalamet or whatever, did a great job playing him.
But I think they stopped the story in this as his career hit the 70s, I believe. I thought they could have maybe drawn it out a little further, but the thing that I liked about the movie, regarding to him personally, is when he all of a sudden played that show with his electric guitar, and people got so upset with him.
Yeah, when he went electric in '65.
When he went electric,
huge,
and everyone was so upset with him, and I'm like, good for him.
Now I don't know if this is true. I'll take it for this person's word, but the scenes that are filmed for the Newport Jazz Folk Festival or whatever were filmed here in Union County in Echo Lake Park.
Really?
Yeah, someone told me this recently. I didn't know that. And even you probably see in Westfield, they've been filming Netflix films.
Yeah, I heard that.
I think De Niro is one of the actors that's in the film.
I haven't seen anything yet. I've heard though.
Because I crossed through Westfield to get to Clark, and I go down Lawrence Avenue.
Where was
they were filming off of Dudley. So it was all sectioned off, and if you went over to where the Lord and Taylor is, they were all like semi trucks and everything, all movie related. Food trucks and parking.
It's funny because I never in that part of town. I usually cut it off at the Circle.
You cut it off at the Circle. But yeah, they've been doing a lot of filming recently, and so that was kind of cool. But
they're doing another Watcher.
Yeah, I know. Right?
I mean, did you see the first one?
I did. The only thing that it had in common with Westfield was the name. It was.
There's no lake
Where's
in
the
Westfield.
Lake? I want to know where this lake is. Where is this thing?
I think that
it wasn't even filmed here. It was filmed in Connecticut, I think.
Upstate New York.
Upstate New York? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember, did they bring up the John List?
What is that?
Remember John List who murdered his family in Westfield?
No, I don't. I didn't even know.
Oh, you never heard of that story?
No, I never.
Oh, you got to look that up.
Oh yeah, it sounds like
that was crazy. It was in the 70s.
No, they did not bring that up that I know of. It's interesting when you drive past that house. It's just weird. It's so eerie there on Boulevard.
Well, in the beginning, when they were filming in the beginning, like it used to be like everyone. It was the traffic there was a traffic jam because people were driving and stopping and looking at the house.
It's crazy. Have you been past the house?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been.
Yeah, multiple times.
I mean, that's a great street too. Boulevard. That's a really nice street there in Westfield.
It's long.
It is long.
It's long.
But it's like a really wide street and a really nice tree-lined street. I think Union County in general is just beautiful. These beautiful tree-lined streets and just really beautiful area that we are in.
Yeah, until people start complaining about Westfield 1 again.
Yeah, I know, right?
I haven't heard much complaining lately.
No, I don't know where that's going. I don't know.
I just find that, I get it.
Yeah.
That they want to keep the charm.
The charm of the city. Yeah, I can get that too.
I get that.
In that case, because really, it's beautiful, like little, downtown area there, and a lot of great restaurants like 16 Prospect.
Like 16 Prospect.
Yes.
But the thing is, the other thing that bothers me about it is these apartments that they're talking about building by the Lord and Taylor.
Yes.
I mean, now, I don't know the validity of this, but I heard those rents are going to be like $5,000 for a 2-bedroom.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what the other ones in the other towns are going for. You're looking at $3,500, $4,500 for some of these places.
That's just ridiculous.
And basically what they're doing, and it's smart, they're putting them along the train line,
Well, yeah.
The Westfield train line there, so that obviously you have easy access to the city.
Well, that's why they're so expensive.
That's why Barb and I chose, we live in New Providence, but we live by the train station.
Yeah, right now we can get out and walk to the train station.
You can walk to the train station that takes you to Summit, and then Summit takes you directly in. What's interesting is, like, if you want to go to...
You get a straight shot in from Westfield.
Let's just say you want to go to a Devils game or you want to go to a Rangers game. From where we live, even though it's closer, it's actually easier for us to go to a Ranger game because it takes you directly into Madison Square Garden. Where the Prudential Center, I have to even figure out how to get there.
Yeah, because the train leaves off at Broad Street, and then you gotta...
Yeah, it leaves you off at whatever Broad in Newark. And so you're about 1.5 miles away. I guess you would have to either walk or Uber or something. Where literally, if you go into New York, you come up into Madison Square Garden.
Driving to Devils games isn't that bad, however.
No. I usually just Uber there or whatever, you know.
I haven't been to a hockey game in age.
The last one I went to, I froze to death. I actually went to the Flyers Devils outside game at the MetLife Stadium.
See, that's definitely not a thing for me.
Oh my God, it was so cold, and I had pretty good, gloves and all on. My fingers were frozen. I actually left a little early. I hated doing it, but I'm like, I was just miserable. It was so cold.
The only games I go to consistently are Eagles games. I mean, I don't really go to Sixers.
That's true.
Flyers
and I was thinking about that. So, I think they said the opening game is against Dallas, right?
It's against Dallas.
It's on a Thursday?
Because they always, Super Bowl champion.
How excited are you going to be that you're going to get to see them hoist that flag and get their rings or whatever
I'm excited that they're good. That Dallas has to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Or not maybe watch it. They're probably not going to watch it, but And they also, I know that we're getting the full schedule tonight. Also, they're playing.
Is that coming out tonight? Cause they've been kind of releasing it, I guess, in bits.
Right,
and pieces.
they've released some of the games. They're playing the Bears on Black Friday at 3:00 in the afternoon. That Friday.
Okay,
that's going to be a blast to go.
Yeah, the Jets did that a few years ago. I mean, that was a disastrous game for them, but I thought cool. I was actually a part of a wedding that weekend, so I didn't really watch the game, but I think it's cool when they play on Black Friday. I agree.
I just hope the majority of Eagles night games are on the road.
Is that a home game for you?
The Bears game? Yeah.
It is. So you're going to be able to go on Black Friday.
Right. And
that's cool.
They're playing at Buffalo, which that may be a solid road trip to go to.
Yeah, we should get Burham and Leicester.
Well, that's weird. I was thinking of doing that. And they're playing at Green Bay on a Monday night.
Oh, wow.
Those are the ones that we know about.
Lambeau would be a great not ballpark, a great stadium to see.
It's just those night games are such killers.
Yeah, especially there. God, it's got to be cold, right? Wisconsin.
Well, Green Bay is, I think, November the 10th.
Green Bay is November the 10th. Okay.
I think. So it shouldn't be horrible.
Are the Eagles playing in England or anything?
No international games this year.
Okay, good.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good. So you'll actually get to go to all the games, or most
whichever.
of them.
I mean, there are games that I'm sure, like on a night game, like it's Thursday night.
But I think we would be so excited to be there for hey, we won the Super Bowl.
Oh, my kids are pumped.
Here's the flag. And
my kids are so pumped.
They get Super Bowl rings, just
Yeah, but my kids are already talking about that. They're like, they can't wait for the game.
Oh, yeah. They're going to love that. I mean, how cool is that? I was thinking about that the other day for you guys, how cool that's going to be for you.
Yeah, and, they're all talking about they're going to go to this game, they're going to go to that game, this game, that game. I'm like...
The surprising thing, unless I missed something, Seamus and I went to opening day of the Yankees this year. And I thought they would have put the AL pennant up or something, but they didn't make any spectacular out of it.
Yeah, because it's just the AL pennant.
It's not a championship. But I look at it this way. I'd rather, as a Yankee fan, I would rather watch the Yankees in it than some other American League team.
Sure.
Even if they lost, hey, they got there. And I don't have to watch the Houston Astros or the Boston Red Sox, play the World Series. So... that's the way I viewed it.
And when the Red Sox played the Mets, who do you root for? Or you don't root for anybody?
Oh, boy. That's a tough one. Especially lately. I guess I would lean on the Mets.
Subway Series is this week?
I just really don't. I'm going. Yeah, I'm actually going.
Which one are you going to?
We're going Saturday.
Is that at 4 o'clock?
No, it's a 1 o'clock start.
That's probably a Fox game.
My friend Danny is on his way here from California right now. He's flying in today. Actually, he's flying into Philadelphia and driving here. But we're taking him. He's never been to New York City. And there's the 5 of us are going, and we're sitting in the bleachers with the bleacher creatures. I don't know if you know the bleacher creatures.
I do.
And we are literally in section 203 for the game. So that should be a lot of fun.
Baseball's fun to go to, especially when it's like a nice day out.
And this is Juan Soto's first time back at Yankee Stadium Friday night. So That should be an interesting what happens.
They'll boo him, but he'll sit there and go, look at the money I got in my
look
pocket.
at the money. But I feel like there's remorse. I feel like he feels like he made a mistake.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't know. The way he kind of, some of the vibes I get, but who knows?
Yeah, he's setting himself up so he doesn't get booed off the field.
Yeah, exactly. Probably. But we'll literally be in the bleachers behind him, there. It's kind of like right center field.
That'll be fun.
And the bleachers are always fun. I don't know if you've ever sat in the bleachers.
I sat in Fenway.
In Fenway, okay.
Never in Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
I guess if I go to Wrigley, do you want to sit in the bleachers or do you want to sit?
I have sat all over. I'm trying to think of the last time because Barb and I went a few years ago. She had never been to Wrigley. I forget where we were. I have not sat in the bleachers at Wrigley. I would think it would be fun.
Well, next year Audrey's conference is in Chicago.
Oh, you should definitely do that.
So I'm hoping the Cubs will be home.
Yeah, you definitely want to do. And I would even say the White Sox are fine. I've been to their stadium.
Yeah, but
totally,
the thing
totally
is,
fine.
too, is
Barb and I went to a game.
Like when we were in Vegas, it's like we weren't on the Strip. It's like I wasn't going to pay. It was like $40 each way for an Uber. I'm like, I'm not paying $80 in the day.
Well, if you're staying downtown Chicago, you can actually take whatever line, red line or whatever it is, to the game.
Yeah, that's what will probably be downtown Chicago, and there'll be a lot of during the day. There'll be a lot of place for me to walk around.
You can take the train there, and the same thing for the Cubs. You can take the whatever line it is. You get dropped off directly at Wrigley.
Yeah, if they're not playing the Phillies, I'll certainly be a Cubs fan that day.
Yeah. I wore Cubs stuff. They weren't playing the Phillies, so I had a Cubs shirt on. And I even bought a Wrigleyville baseball shirt.
Yeah, I gotta get something.
Yeah, it's fun.
So.
But anyway, this has been a great conversation. We're gonna just take a minute, take a pause, and we will be right back. And we're back, and wow, what a great conversation this has been. It was a lot of fun. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I really did. I knew we would not have lack of words. I knew.
That's not in our vocabulary.
Once you get us going, forget it. I think the two of us could talk to a wall, and I think sometimes
and get a response.
And sometimes I think we do. Some people you talk to, you feel like you're talking to a wall.
That's the truth.
But
that is the truth.
I can only imagine, especially in your world, like some of the patients.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my two hands deep in someone's mouth. Yeah. Why aren't you responding to me?
Yeah, why aren't you talking?
I just remember the other day, I did something and someone responded to me, and I responded back, and one of my assistants said, "How did you know what they said?" I said, "I've been doing this way too long."
Yeah, you're like a Rosetta Stone of dental.
I speak fluent
dental language. You speak full dental.
Fluent dental, baby.
You and Hermie the elf, right on Rudolph. I want to be a dentist and fix teeth. Anywho, well, we'd like to thank our sponsors, most notably 16 Prospect. In downtown Westfield. Their name is their address, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we love going there. Great restaurant, great food, great atmosphere, great beverages,
great people,
great people,
great town,
great.
Just overall great.
It's great. No, it really is. It's a great restaurant. I keep saying great. I can't stop saying it.
They're great.
They're great. Tony the Tiger. Wow. Yes, but go check them out. 16 Prospect and
if you're there when Jim or I are there, just say hi to Jim. He'll buy you a beer.
Absolutely, I will. I will buy you a beer.
I would too.
Paul would buy you a beer too.
Yes.
He would. But we got the Florham Park Dental Excellence over here.
Florham Park Dental Excellence, baby. Best dental office in the state, no question.
Absolutely. You guys were voted best dental office in the state by the Random S podcast, right?
We were.
Yeah, you were. You guys are, that's amazing.
That was the honor bestowed on me that I could never forget.
That had to be some stiff competition. And you guys won out. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And you like to make smiles you can see for miles. Oh, did you see that? The Who announced their
their seventh retirement.
Retirement tour. It's like the perpetual time.
No Desire.
I love really.
Yeah.
I texted Seamus and I think there's interest.
I'm going to see Clapton in September.
I'm going to Clapton in September in Philly. Are you going to Philly?
No. Well, I didn't know it was in Philly. I was looking at New York.
My friend had an extra ticket, and so I am going to attend.
Because last time, I've seen him so many times.
I've never seen him.
Oh, you never seen him? Last time he wasn't in Philly. He was only in New York a couple of years ago.
But I get that this is a Who song, but I kind of laugh at the title of the tour. The Song Is Over tour.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. I know that's an awesome song on Who's Next. It's one of my favorites, but it's just so funny that the tour is called The Song Is Over.
I know.
The song is
I
over.
don't believe it for a
It's
second.
all behind me. Right? Great album.
Is Guitar and Pen on that album?
No, that is on Who's Next.
That's a great song.
No, sorry, not Who's. What am I saying? Who Are You?
Who are you?
Who's Next is what we're talking about. Sorry. No, Who Are You? In fact, when I was with the National Affairs Council and when I went to Ryan, we did a trip up to the UN building, and we got to see the whole UN as, juniors in high school. And then for whatever reason, they let us loose in New York for the afternoon. And the first place my friend and I went was we went to a record store and I bought Who Are You, the album. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
It certainly is.
Yeah, but Guitar and the Pen's a good song.
Yeah.
I think you could make an argument between Who's Next, Quadrophenia. I really do like Who by numbers, but I mean, it would have to probably come down between Tommy, Quadrophenia, or Who.
I think Quadrophenia.
Who's Next?
Quadrophenia
is my personal favorite.
Yeah.
But I think that Who's Next is just incredible.
So we were to thank our sponsors.
Oh yeah, that's right. Anyway, so Florham Park Dental Excellence.
Check.
I got off on a random topic here.
Yeah, what a surprise.
So FlorhamParkDental.com. FlorhamParkDental.com. We just get talking again. I was so excited. I definitely want to go see them.
We should get Energizer batteries as a sponsor.
Yeah, I know, right? I definitely want to go see them. I love seeing the Who. I saw them do Quadrophenia cover to cover in 2012. Anyway, then we also have Minuteman Press and Clark, where you're branding and printing partners. Everything you see on the set, the embroidery work, the screen print work, the set behind us, all printed through Minuteman Press and Clark. And you can check us out at nj213.minuteman.com. That's nj213.minuteman.com. And let's thank our wonderful, fantastic Random S team. We have producer Ange Mooney. We have production and editing Bridget Hanlon. We have executive producer Seamus Mooney. And you can check us out on Spotify and definitely on YouTube. So make sure when you go out to YouTube that you follow us so we know how many followers we have out there. And for Paul and I, where we like to say, hey, randommies, always stay random-esque. It was very random meeting you, and now you're part of our lives, the Random Family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Fun show. Way to go. Nice job. Yay.
Nice job, you too.
Bye. Bye.
Have a topic you would like the Randomesque podcast to discuss randomly? Please email us at randomesque@gmail.com. That's RANDUMBESQUE@gmail.com. This has been the Random-esque Podcast, produced by Moonrock LLC. And remember, always stay random-esque.